Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Office Bloke Daz.
I'm Gaynor.
Okay, just the two of us.
Yeah.
If Patreon's your thing, check out the link in the description below. Absolutely loads of stuff on there. Full watch alongs, Modern Family, Always Sunny in Philadelphia, F is for Family, Welcome to Wrexham, the quarterback. Yeah. There's loads of stuff on there. Yeah. Quizzes, something for everybody. Yeah. All starts at just $3 a month. Help support the channel. Do you remember this Extreme Makeovers?
Ty Pennington, I
think his name was. Yeah, how Extreme Makeover destroyed families. Yeah, he had a way about him. We used to watch it quite a bit, and it always it was one of them things for me when you watch it. It was like it was always in like a lower class neighbourhood, and then they come out with this brand new house that didn't look part of the neighbourhood. Yeah. It sort of like stuck out like a sore thumb.
Double the size of it.
Yeah. So this is how it destroyed families. But let's get into it. How Extreme Home Makeover destroyed families.
Imagine one morning you wake up to this guy screaming outside of your house into a megaphone. You walk outside to find out that he is with a television crew and they are sending you and your family on a 1-week vacation, and during that time he is going to demolish your home and build you a brand new one from the ground up. Although it's pretty obnoxious, it sounds like a pretty good deal, right? Well, it is a good deal until it's not. Foreclosures, angry community members, property tax increases, bills doubling to tripling, and even more family struggles. Many of the families that were featured on Extreme Makeover Home Edition ended up worse off than before Ty Pennington showed up on their doorstep.
That's what I used to think. That they'd have like a small house, and then they'd come along and maybe triple the size of it. And I remember saying, like, what about the bills? The bills are going to be like a lot higher, and the garden that they've just put in like is 3 times the size, and you've got to look after it.
There's that, but the other side of it as well is that, from what I remember from watching it, a lot of the people who had chosen to be a part of it either had a disability or an injury, or the single parent or whatever, something like that. It was always something where they couldn't necessarily go to work, or they were struggling in life. Let's say it wasn't all all happiness.
And if I remember rightly, I don't think they write in. I think it's people that nominate them, isn't it?
Oh, it is. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that worked, but I always used to think that you're going into a bigger house and it just didn't sit right, sort of thing. And it was like you said, the upkeep of some of these houses quite expensive to do.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm sure the families always had something wrong with them. Yeah, there was always an issue with the family.
I remember one that I watched. I might be getting confused with the ones that have over here as well, but I remember one that I watched, and they had a disabled child in a chair that needed to manoeuvre around the house, so they made everything more.
Yeah, that was the sort of thing they did, wasn't it? They were the sort of things they did. Yeah, let's carry on.
But to fully understand how some families were negatively affected by what seems to be a very generous gift, we must first take a look at the families that were carefully chosen to get these home remodels. Typically, individuals would fill out an application form on the ABC website, which required them to provide a story of why they deserved a new house. You could also nominate another family, such as a friend or a member of your community. Every episode starts with a story of the deserving family in need, such as a family that lost their mother or father, a family with a disabled child, a family that's living in poverty, or a family affected by a natural disaster. Since this was a reality television show, it was very important to produce the most tear-jerking episodes possible, featuring stories that would deeply tug at the viewer's heartstrings. Some people argued that specifically targeting families who had endured unimaginable tragedy and faced overwhelming hardship was ABC exploiting them for better ratings. Joe Scarborough of MSNBC claimed that Extreme Makeover has a secret wish list of victims the show is trying to hunt down. They want to find a family who has multiple children with Down syndrome. They want to find a child with a rare condition that causes rapid aging and death. They want to find an extraordinary mom or dad who's diagnosed with Lou Gehrig's disease. Now, if the show was aggressively targeting these people, sure, that's a bit weird, especially because it's likely for the TV ratings and not for charity. However, it is still a good deed. Plus, if they helped out middle-class families or ones that seemed like they weren't that bad off, they would be criticized for not focusing on a more deserving family. I don't think Home Makeover is taking advantage of the families. However, I do think that monthly subscription sites take advantage of you and know that most people forget to cancel their subscriptions. Well, today's sponsor, Rocket Money, is here to help. Rocket Money is personal saving description. I like to use if you exceed your bill, users using in the description Patrick sees the families during the family's trip. Right. Once the participants were selected, the crew would treat the families to a fully funded vacation to destinations such as Hawaii, California, or Florida. During the family's trip, ABC would rally hundreds of contractors, construction workers, and volunteers in the local community to help. Sometimes they would even make Facebook pages so all their neighbors could stay up to date. Oftentimes, the volunteers are critical for the house getting completed on time. Then, Ty Pennington would video call the family and show his crew absolutely destroying their house, and sometimes they would take it too far. Take the Rapati Pierce family, for example. The mother and father were both police officers, and one tragic night, Christina was shot during a foot pursuit, which led to her being paralyzed from the waist down. So they hired the LA SWAT team to place bombs inside of the house, detonate them, then drive a massive battering ram attached to an armored truck to destroy the house. Now, obviously, they
That'd bring back memories, wouldn't it, of like flashbacks of a bit much, I think, a bit extreme. Yeah, I guess it's the extreme.
Have to do demolition to rebuild a new house from the ground up, but it would still be a bit traumatic to watch your home filled with all those memories get smashed to a million pieces. But the ridiculousness didn't stop there. Remember, this is reality TV. Just building a very practical, standard, and modest home wouldn't be good enough. So the carpenters and designers were pushed to create increasingly elaborate designs and gimmicks to boost ratings, such as this airplane-themed bedroom with bags of peanuts as curtains, this very small backyard that was converted to a miniature go-kart track. How many trips around that go-kart track would a kid be able to do before they get absolutely sick of it? Why not a playroom with a ball pit containing 27,000 plastic balls? And my personal favorite, a teenager's room entirely made out of duct tape.
Desk. I have a bedspread and a pillowcase made out of duct tape.
The designers would take one small facet of their personality and dedicate the entire bedroom to it. Like this toddler who said he wants to be a cardiologist when he grows up, so they put EKG signals on the walls and a dresser designed to look like a human heart. Rooms like this seem very difficult to age in, and the tacky designs would actually take a considerable amount of effort to change. But sometimes it wasn't just tasteless designs. They would actually create new responsibilities that the family may not have even wanted. For example, this teenager got a jacuzzi that took up half the bedroom. Could you imagine your room constantly smelling like hot chlorine water? The cost to maintain a jacuzzi is only about $20 to $40 per month in sanitizer and chemicals, but even doing the maintenance is a burden that maybe nobody wanted. Just draining that water every 3 to 4 months like you're supposed to would be incredibly inconvenient. Another thing they did often was add huge fish tanks or animal habitats, like this boy's room that looks like the reptile section at a pet store, complete with frogs, turtles, and lizards. Buying pet food, supplies, and cleaning the tanks is even more important because it will literally kill the animal if you don't.
That's a lot of massive responsibility. It looks like a shop.
I remember Declan wanting fish, and they smell. No matter what you put in there, they smell. And I was like, God, I wish these fish had bloody died.
Is that when I flush them?
Yeah. No, we had it was like a SpongeBob SquarePants thing, wasn't it? All like in the bottom, and then you just have to keep replenishing the fish.
Extreme home makeover inserting new responsibility onto you without your choice isn't only annoying. For some people, it created even more problems and financial stress that ultimately forced them to move out of their homes. Now, most of the time, ABC would entirely pay off the home for the family. However, owning a home is more than just paying the mortgage. Expenses such as property taxes, utilities, and home maintenance add up extremely quickly. There have been multiple reports of families whose expenses doubled, if not tripled, within the first year of living there. The Dickinson family went from an 1,800 square foot ranch to a 6-bedroom, 4-bathroom, 4,000 square foot super home equipped with cutting-edge technology. So it's only natural to assume that the bills would go up. Their electric bill alone went from about $200 per month to as high as $600 after. Their property taxes tripled. The wife, India, said she wasn't worried. My husband works and I work, so if I have to work another job to help keep it up, that's what I'll do. But as the years went on, it got worse and worse. And in October of 2016, William filed a Chapter 13 bankruptcy petition to save his home from foreclosure. He had only $5 in cash, $287 in a checking account, and $15 in a joint savings account at the time of filing. However, it seems like they never lost the house, because on 2022 Google Maps, you can see William and his daughter standing outside the front door, proud of their estate. But that situation was nothing compared to the Oakvath family. The Oakvaths were from Gilbert, Arizona, and their story began with a heartfelt letter from their daughter Cassandra, who requested the show to renovate the cancer ward where she had been a patient. Touched by Cassandra's selfless request, the producers not only granted her wish, but also surprised the family of 9 with a 2-story mansion. The construction involved a massive team of 1,600 contractors and volunteers that garnered attention from across the state. Unfortunately, this wasn't happily ever after. Utility costs reached $1,200 for electricity per month and $400 per month for water. Property taxes increased from $1,600 pre-makeover to $5,600 after. Brian lost his job and was battling depression. With no other immediate solution, they used their house as collateral to take out a $405,000 loan. It was an adjustable rate mortgage, and the payments became too much for the family to handle. This was their dream home, and they knew they couldn't afford it. Craziest part is, they never even asked for this in the first place. The ironic part about these situations is that people's first instinct is to doubt the families. Why couldn't they figure it out? Why not get another job? Why didn't they just sell the house? Most of the time, nobody wants to buy these homes. The Oakvaths listed their house for $1.8 million, then slowly started to lower the price over the next year. Out of desperation, they ended up selling for $540K, just enough to break even on their loan and maybe put a down payment on a new place. The Beach family have been trying to sell their home since February 2013. The price tag started at $700,000 and is now down to $535,000. They say they've had to sell because the upkeep of the house is just too much now. It's a unique home and will take a unique person to buy it. Most critics forget the reason these families got these homes were because they were struggling in the first place. Many of them had pre-existing debt. Some of them weren't even homeowners in the first place. They were renting the house and ABC bought it and built them a new one. Combine these money issues with the family trauma they were all experiencing, and it's a recipe for disaster. From my research, every single family that sold their house sold it for less than what it cost to build. But no matter what reason they chose to sell their house, they face backlash from the community. Since each home is a community project with hundreds of volunteers, they look at the home like a gift from their neighbors. The Hassel family decided to sell just 3 years later because it was too much stress to handle. Then a publication interviewed members of the community to see how they feel. A lot of people gave time, product, and services. Some are very angry. Some I've run into have asked, why do they deserve it? There was even a letter written to the local newspaper that titled,
there's a lot of jealousy, I guess, in a lot of stuff like that. If you want to, I mean, for me, if someone said to me, the guy next to you needs help, can you go, first of all, I'm shit at DIY. I'm probably the last person you want to help, you want to help you. But if it needed me giving time to do something to help somebody, I have no problem with that. And then if someone decided in the end that they wanted to sell a house because I've helped them, I have no problem with that. I'd be like, you know what, yeah, you got, it was a bit of a gift, but if you need to sell it, then you need to do what you got to do.
Yeah, the thing is, like I said before, you can't just build these massive houses.
Yeah, it's not small houses they're building either.
Make people pay for them. It's not fair.
There should be some kind of fund that goes into an upkeep fund that goes into as well. But you can't give someone everything, I think.
And the thing is, it's like they said, if they knocked a house down and just built another small house, nobody probably watched the show. You watch the show to see all the different rooms and what they do to the house.
It's got to be extreme. That's the name of the show, sort of thing. But if you're going to build, you could build something that's similar sort of like footprint, just have a better design on it, sort of thing, and more energy efficient or a nicer garden, and do things like people probably still watch that. But when you're building that house they built there with the 2 stories with the white pillars and all that, was just
like White House.
Yeah, it was just crazy.
The entire Hassel family story is a disgrace and humiliation to this community. The Harper family's house foreclosed, and the mayor's response was, "It's aggravating. It just makes you mad. You do that much work, and they just squander it." Because he helped vault a massive beam into place in the Harper's living room. The Nicholas family received a home after the father died from contracting hepatitis C when he was pricked with a patient's contaminated needle. 9 years later, the home was foreclosed because the mother could not manage the previous home mortgage and new property taxes that tripled in price. "I feel bad because so many people came together to help us," she said. "I know I shouldn't feel like I let them down, but I do." Many of the families feel guilt and shame that they couldn't live happily ever after. Most of them don't want to sell their houses, but the financial stress and family tragedy is overbearing. As the years went on, ABC scaled back their projects because so many homes were being foreclosed on. They eventually realized these over-the-top charity acts were too extreme to be truly helpful, but then their ratings dropped since the homes weren't extreme enough for TV, which led to the show being canceled in 2012. I also noticed that they only have a small small selection of episodes available on Hulu today, and all of the families who went on to sell or get foreclosed on got their episodes removed from streaming services. It turns out when you find a broken family facing hardship and financial problems, build them an extremely oversized home with ugly interiors in the middle of a neighborhood surrounded by other homes not even worth half as much as the new one they just built, it ends up doing more harm than good.
Right. He's exactly right.
Yeah.
And it's I don't know what the answer is on it, to be fair.
No. I was always told have the smallest house on a nice street rather than the biggest house on a
shitty street.
Yeah.
But I just don't know what the answer is with that. It's a shame what happens, but you know the people, like I said before when we started the video, the families that they're doing this to are all struggling.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, with disability or with with some form of issue.
Yeah.
That they're trying to do this to help them. But again, if it's not helping, I'm sure there's more families that did help.
Oh yeah.
And there's probably a load that have been a success story as well. But when you're talking their numbers there shouldn't be any.
No.
So like go the other way.
No.
But they should advise before they do it. Listen, this is what you're going to get yourself into.
Yeah.
But even some people are blind to that. They'll probably just accept, I'm going to get a new house.
Yeah.
And it's going to be twice the size. And I know I've seen the show. I know what I'm going to get.
Yeah.
I'm going to get something done within a week. I'm going on holiday for a week somewhere nice as well. So you get a free holiday and an upgrade on your home that's all paid for.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes it's the upkeep of it all. But it's good, that interesting.
Yeah.
Great channel. It's a new one for us, that channel.
Yeah.
Enjoyed that. It was good. Hope you guys enjoyed it as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you on the next one.
Bye.
Cheers.